You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. You look good, Coach.
Oh, trying. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, live from Bettendorf and TouVelle Stadium. Week 1 of the high school football season is officially here in Iowa. Week 2 continues in Illinois. We'll talk high school football and a lot of it as we've taken OTA on the road. If you're watching us live on YouTube, we appreciate that. Thank you for doing that. Make sure you're liking and subscribing and all that great stuff. We're also live on X. X has been very, very good to us as well. We are streaming on the WHO Plus app in Des Moines. Welcome to our viewers in Central Iowa. You'll get your updates on everything going on the eastern side of the state when it comes to high school football. And of course, you can listen to all these goofy shows each and every day, anywhere you get your podcasts, whether it be Spotify, iHeart, Podbean, Apple, wherever you get your podcast, put in Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, and you can listen to the shows. Instead of looking at me and especially the guy we got here joining me, you can listen to the shows as well. So we are at TouVelle Stadium. It's Bettendorf and Pleasant Valley here at TouVelle Stadium tonight. Joining me now, the athletic director here at Bettendorf, Shay. And I got to make sure I say Zach because I get you and your brother as always.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, you're the good-looking
That's
Shay,
embarrassing.
Right?
Yeah,
That's what
bigger,
you said.
stronger, faster. That's for sure.
I will be clipping this to Bo and everybody else and sending to them as well. Thanks for letting me do this. Happy Friday.
Hey, baby, it's game day in Bettendorf, Iowa. The word of the day is got us. So, you know, we're excited to have you here. Obviously, if Matt Randazzo is in the house, it's a big-time game. So, PV coming in, we're excited about what's going to take place here tonight.
I love it. It is a big time atmosphere. This place is going to be packed. What's the day like for you? I want to start there because obviously it's a team effort. There's a lot of people doing a lot of things. It's been busy behind me, but what is a game day like? And not just a game day, but a PV Bettendorf game day where you know this place is going to be packed tonight.
Well, PV Bettendorf obviously adds a little bit to the stress level because you got to be at your best, like you are every time you do this show. But we got to be at our best tonight from a game management standpoint, an operations standpoint. We just got out of an admin meeting for security, ticketing, all the things that the players and coaches, they don't need to worry about, and they shouldn't have to worry about that stuff. But as an administrator, we have hit the ground running. Monday, it's fast and furious. Friday's finally here. We're ready for PV to come in the house, and we hope that we have our A game, and we'll find out tonight on the field and off the field.
Absolutely. You look at it too, Zach, and it is, you're not a Bettendorf guy. You weren't grown up in this area, weren't raised, not grown up. I don't know if have you grown up yet?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
How quickly did you, you know about it being from the area, what it's about, but from the outside looking in and then actually being involved in it, what is this rivalry like?
Well, it's one of the best in the state for sure. We have some of the best talent on the field right now for Bettendorf. Obviously Gavin Stecker is one of those guys. It's an Iowa commit. Growing up in Galesburg, Illinois, and then playing at the University of Iowa with Tavian Banks, and then seeing Tavian Banks and Tim Dwight with that rivalry with Iowa City High and Bettendorf. Now it's PV Bettendorf. Bettendorf is always in the mix, and it's 1 mile away, which is crazy to me. In Galesburg, you kind of got to travel a little ways to get to your opponent, but here in the Quad Cities, that rival is right down the street, and we're expecting probably between 6,000 to 7,000 people. So It's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere.
We're going to have some of the players in just a little bit, including Gavin Stecker, you just mentioned, Wyatt Freking as well. Coach Wiley will be down talking X's and O's a little bit, but you're a football guy. Obviously,
I like to think I am.
Last year wasn't quite to Bettendorf standards, obviously, but it was a young team.
Yep.
What did you see last year as a football guy? And expectations this year are higher because a lot of guys got a lot of great reps and a great experience last year as well.
Yeah, I look at Bettendorf kind of a little bit like Iowa. Our head coach is a defensive guy, so we're going to play great defense. We're a traditional 4-down, even front defense. I think last year we started a sophomore quarterback, and he could sling it, and now he's a junior, so he's got 1 year of experience. So he's only going to be better with age, and then obviously he's worked on his skill and being able to not only throw the ball but run the ball. He's bigger, stronger, faster. He's got his brother out there at wide out as well, and we have some other really good wide receivers in Caleb Brown and Caden Gray. So those guys are going to help our quarterback. Caden Gray's 6'7". He's going to be able to throw the ball up and let that guy go up and get a rebound. But I just think from a standpoint of we're going to play great defense, and our offensive skill guys are just that much older. They're 1 year older.
Do you get to enjoy game night? I know life is busy, but you are a football guy. I remember being here with my camera back in the day, and you were still watching. I know there's a lot going on, but you can't help but watch a football game like this tonight at some point, right?
Yeah, I love coaching. I love the game of football. I love the strategic X's and O's of it. I'll get on the sideline. I'll stand there and I'll talk to Freking. I'll talk to Coach Wiley and just, what's going on? What are you seeing? And they're asking me sometimes. And, I'm so far removed from it because I wasn't in on the game planning. But you can see some things out there that are happening. Obviously we're going to face PV with a triple option attack, and we're going to line up in our even front. But, Coach Wiley's going to change some things up, and I think you have to be able to do that against triple option teams to keep them guessing. But, yes, I love to get out there, and once halftime is over, it's almost like I can take a deep breath because the band has got all their things done. The cheerleaders are done. The gold dusters are done, and I can kind of take a deep breath. And then the rest of it's on Kevin Skillett because he's up announcing.
There you go. Oh, he's announcing.
Yeah, this is year 2.
I got to get out here just to see him announce.
Yeah, that's
Does
it's
he announce with his old basketball shorts on? You know, the Iowa ones that are hiked up. I always make fun about that because he's
they roll him up. You know, he
the old school look.
Likes to show his legs off.
Yeah, he's got. Hey, why not? I'll talk to Coach Wiley a little bit more about this later. But football teams go as far as their leaders and their seniors, and you mentioned two guys we're going to talk to here in a little bit, and Wyatt, Freking, and Gavin Stecker. You don't coach them, but you know them. You're around them in the building, and you know the game. How important is it to have not just talented players, because those two dudes are really talented, but leaders when it comes to getting your team ready and preparation throughout the week and just being around this team?
I mean, it's critical. Obviously, you know, these two guys have been in the program. I mean, they've been around the program since they were little kids. You know, obviously Kevin Freking, his dad's been a long-time coach. Wyatt's been around the program. Gavin, his dad played here. You know, and again, I'm a defensive guy, so I believe if you can play great defense, you're always going to be in the game and have a chance. You're going to be within striking distance, right, whether it's 1 or 2 scores. And I always talk about physicality of the game, and you have to be able to strike people and you have to be able to get people down. I used to talk about tackling. You know, you can go through the 6 fundamentals of tackling, you know, close space, come to balance, wrap up, run your feet, and then roll them to the ground. All that sounds good if you're tackling them in a phone booth, but on game night, I want to see physicality and I want to be able to see guys get guys to the ground. And I know these two guys are the best, if not the best, some of the best in the state of Iowa, and they certainly can get that done.
Absolutely. Zach Shay joining us, the athletic director right here in Off Air with Matt Randazzo. A few more for you before I let you go. It is a new school year for everything, not just football. And so I kind of want to talk to you about that. How excited, how is, like obviously inside the building, you got volleyball going on and other sports rocking and rolling. How excited are you and this school to get rolling on another year of sports and athletics here at Bettendorf High School?
I mean, obviously the beginning of the year, every year is exciting. I mean, we have a new superintendent, but we have a new vibe here. I think there's a new energy. We're super excited at the high school. We've had an administrative team that has been together probably the last 5 or 6 years, which it just helps with continuity and, you know, turnover and the expectations of the teachers and that the teachers have of us. That hasn't changed in about 5 to 6 years. So that just helps, and you're just right into the flow of things, and everybody has an understanding of what their job is on a day-to-day basis, and it just, I think it helps with the comfort level of the students and of the adults. And so far, the first week, we're off to a great start, and very limited issues the first week.
I got to get your thoughts before I let you go, because you grew up in Illinois, played over there. It's week 2 in Illinois, which is weird.
Yeah, very weird.
Your thoughts? I mean, obviously over here you're week 1, and I think week 1 comes too early probably for you guys as is. You probably wish football-wise and just getting things ready, you had another week to get ready. What were your thoughts last week of the athletic directors and coaches and teams on the Illinois side of the river playing football already?
So it was very weird because I kind of live in an Assumption area of Davenport. And so Assumption played Geneseo, who we used to play when I was playing at Galesburg. And Geneseo was it still is a really good football tradition and powerhouse. And it was just weird to me. And it's almost like football's getting to the point where everybody makes the playoffs. So I was a head coach in Marion, Indiana, and in the state of Indiana, you play 8 regular season games, and then the 9th game, everybody in the state is in the playoffs. So it was weird. So, I mean, as a coach, you can always say, well, I made the playoffs 100% of the time I was a head coach in the state of Indiana. So it's weird. You know, things are changing in football. You know, I hope it gets back on the rebound. I hope the numbers go back up. You know, it's still the greatest game in the United States of America just by viewership and, you know, the interest level of people wanting to watch college and NFL football. And, you know, varsity high school football is played at a great level, and I just hope the numbers continue to increase.
Oh, absolutely. Well said. It is. It's a different time in high school football. It's still a great game. And Friday nights are simply, it's different. It's different from most other sports. There's 9 of them. You know the 9 you get. And it's a little different when I think some Illinois teams this week, if they win, they clinch a playoff spot. And it's August 28th.
That's wild.
Or whatever it is. So,
I would say football to me it's an equalizer sport, right? You don't have to go do all these travel league stuff. You can show up day one, whether you're short, tall, fat, skinny, you could show up and play football. And I think that's what makes it a great sport.
No, it's the best. Hey, you're the best too. Appreciate you, my friend. Zach Shay, athletic director here at Bettendorf. We're just getting warmed up. Coming up after the break, we're going to be joined by a pair of those linebackers that hope to have big nights against Pleasant Valley. We'll continue to preview Pleasant Valley PV. We'll look ahead at the rest of the action in Iowa. Also coming up later in the show, Mitch Stormer from View from the West will be here to preview everything going on in Illinois as well. So we have a lot to get to. Aaron Wiley will be out joining us in a little bit as well. So it's OTA on the road on a Friday right here at TouVelle Stadium. We're going to hit a quick commercial. Watch how smoothly I do this, Zach, because the sun is killing me. I'm going to scroll down, find my sponsors, The
guy's jack of all trades.
Yeah, something like that. We'll be right back right here at OTA. Hawkeye fans, football season is quickly approaching, and only one place can get you game day ready. The Black and Gold Shop is your official retailer of Iowa athletics. The largest selection of Hawkeye apparel, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and more from top brands like Nike, Champion, and Under Armour. And your purchases directly help support Iowa athletics. So stop by one of their 3 great locations in the Quad Cities, Coralville, or West Des Moines. Or shop anytime at blackandgoldshop.com. The Black and Gold Shop, your official apparel provider of Iowa athletics. For over 65 years, Lindquist Ford has proudly served the Quad Cities, and they're just getting started. Looking for a new ride? Check out a healthy mix of new and quality pre-owned vehicles ready for you. Need service? Skip the waiting room. With free pickup and delivery and mobile service, they come to you. No delays, no hassle. From routine maintenance to a full-service collision repair shop, it's fast, friendly, reliable, and always transparent. Lindquist Ford, serving the Quad Cities since 1959. Experience the difference today.
All right, Crawford guys, we need to come up with a new ad campaign. Let's hear what you got.
Oh, let's make a new TV commercial.
No, we need a viral video.
I think my face would look good on a billboard. Come on, what?
Right. We need your head to be bigger.
For heating and air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical, count on the experts at Crawford Company.
Like me, the Crawford lady.
And me, the Crawford guy.
Ugh, you've got to be kidding.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. Not just in the Quad Cities, we are live at TouVelle Stadium. Bettendorf, Pleasant Valley, kicking off tonight here, kicking off the season in style. And joining me now, a pair of seniors, right?
Yep.
When we have Wyatt Freking and Gavin Stecker joins us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Boys, appreciate you doing this. Wyatt, I'm going to start with you. It's PV week. It's not just opening week, it's PV week. What is this week like for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of nerves. You know, you grow up being a Bulldog and you see all the PV games, and it's always a fun week. You know, they're a good team, good program, so we're excited to get out there. So.
Great job answering a question while I look like an idiot moving around and stuff like that. But Gavin, same thing. Pleasant Valley, is it different being PV over here?
I mean, you try and treat it like any other game, but
you move a little closer.
You try to treat it like any other game, but you know, there's always that extra air. You know, a mile down the road, they're right there, and I think it's always huge. There's always been big games with PV, and it's always close. They're always.
Yes. No, absolutely. I'm going to do you guys, as we go on the fly, you guys are going to share a microphone, so be nice to each other and like each other as you go, because we got a little technical difficulty. Wyatt, what's the season? Obviously, senior year for you. How do you guys approach it? Last year's results, I know, don't sit well with you guys. What's been the vibe this offseason? You guys have gotten ready for the season?
Yeah, you know, we've always had in the back of our mind if they're training in the weight room, you know, really been busting our butts. really just thinking about that, it really drives us because, you know, you look at the past few years and we've been really we've had some good years, and last year wasn't so good. And I'd say just it's going to be our leadership. Our leadership has increased. Our team tradition, you know, has really bonded together this offseason. So we're just excited to see how it works tonight. So.
Gavin, what's it been like motivation-wise, getting ready for this season? Not just Pleasant Valley tonight, but in general, getting to do this one last time.
I think you just gotta treat it like this is your last shot. You know, this could be your last game tonight. It could be your last game in 13 weeks. You know, there's been a different air around the program, like you said, and I think the intensity, I think at every level the coaches have brought it up. I think the players have brought it up. I think the leadership has stepped up in a big way. I think last year, I think kind of we fell off after those first couple of losses. It's kind of died down, and I think we just got to be able to stand with the trials and stand with the team.
Yeah, absolutely. Wyatt, you look at it, and expectations are always high at Bettendorf. What do you like about this team? Let's talk football. Obviously, they got two pretty good linebackers. But when it comes to that defense, and we'll start with the defensive side of the football, what do you guys like about what you see so far in practice, and what can you guys bring to the field this year?
Well, I like our D-line group right now. They're some tough kids, and our DBs, we actually we lost three last year technically. So I think we actually returned them and returned some better guys almost. So I'll say that defensively we returned a lot of guys, and yeah, I mean I don't know. I like where we're at. So
I like how you immediately mentioned those guys up front. That's a smart teammate. Yeah. Like you went right to the other guys. How important are those guys up front, Gavin? Because you guys can run around and make tackles, but if you're not free and clean and those guys doing their jobs up front, how important are those big uglies up front? I say that nicely.
I think those guys are probably the most important guys on that, at least in those first 2 seconds. You know, they're the ones taking on every block for us. They're the ones who are giving us all this open space, the free roam. We wouldn't be where we're at. Statistically or collegiately wise if we didn't have those guys up there. So I think those are I like to say the most important guys for us tonight. Absolutely. Especially.
We'll talk with Coach Wiley in a little bit, and I know he's just going to say we take game one at a time and all this. I've talked to him for 20 years, and he's one of the best. But what are your goals and expectations, Wyatt? Do you guys, and you don't have to tell me what they are, but do you write them down like, hey, and Bettendorf, it's usually the dome. So, I mean, are they as high as ever, or how do you guys approach expectations this year?
Yeah, you know, the expectation here is the playoffs and even the dome. So I think saying dome right now would be a little ahead of ourselves because we didn't make the playoffs last year. So right now I think it's just get to the playoffs and hopefully we can run. So
Gavin?
I'd like to look at it one game at a time. I think we got PV tonight, then we flip right next to City High the next week, and we just keep building from there. You build, and then you get that flow, and then you're right into the playoffs. So.
All right, don't say anything stupid to get you guys in trouble, but what is the rivalry like? Like, I mean, yes, there's no love lost and you don't like Pleasant Valley, but you know those guys as well, too. So what is the rivalry like? I think it's one of the best we have in our Quad City area, if not the best. What's it like PV week, and what makes the rivalry special?
You know, a lot of us grew up together, right? We're a mile away, whether that's baseball, basketball, you know, playing some travel sports. You know, there's a lot of trash talk online right now, so it's just yeah, I don't really know. It's just we don't really aren't too fond of each other. So
yeah, is it different, Gavin, when it's the Spartan logo and helmet, and you've played them in the past? Is there a different vibe, and what makes this game different?
I think the last couple of years it's been really close. I think you look over there and you just see those guys every day. They beat you this year. You're going to see them everywhere. You're going to see them at Hy-Vee. You're going to see them at McDonald's or wherever you're at. You're going to see them for a year. So you just got to try and put that above them, and you just want it more. I feel like.
I love it. When you look at this, I want to talk about the future. I'll start with you, Gavin, because obviously committed to play at the University of Iowa. You were on the show when you committed. How nice is it to it's two different things. We'll get to why in a second, but you know what's going on. You know is it kind of, has it been, I don't say reassuring, but just kind of a deep breath where you can go just play football?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a relief. You know, last year, week 0, I was up in Kansas. Then the next week I was somewhere else, just bouncing around a lot last year. It just made it like your mind's in two places almost. And so I think this year it's a relief. You know, recruiting's done. I don't got to worry about that. I know where I'm going on Saturday. I don't have to worry about anything. Just focus on this team, focus on this season.
So I flip that and make Wyatt feel really bad, but you're outstanding football player. You're not sure what you're going to do next year and where you're going to go. Everything I hear, man, like, and Pat Anger has been on the show way too much, and obviously he's seen you play and tape and that, and he thinks you're fantastic. What is your mindset as you go into this year, knowing that? I mean, obviously you're playing for the Bettendorf on your chest, and that's, you're not thinking about Saturdays, but is it a little different knowing that you still have a decision to make in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say like 2 years ago, I didn't really know if I was going to play college football. You know, I love high school football. I always wanted to be a varsity athlete for Bettendorf. But, you know, like Gavin said, I just want to focus on the team right now. Really nothing else. I still have a decision to make for college, you know, where that goes out. But I just want to focus on the team this year. So.
Okay, I got to have some fun with you guys. So your dad's one of my favorite people. He's an interesting dude. He's a great dude. What's it like having Kevin Freking as your dad?
I mean, I can't.
Gavin, pipe down.
I mean,
be nice, because he's watching.
I mean, he's my like I've just seen him as my dad. You know, he's just normal. You know.
No, he's not.
I mean, it's really nothing. Same way Gavin probably look at his dad.
Yeah.
You know, I obviously see him in a different setting every day at the football practice. My bad practice, come home. You know, might be a little mad at each other. You know, you never know. But yeah, I mean, there's some pros and cons for sure. So.
But and your dad knows more about football than has forgotten more about football than I know. Is that nice to be able to go home and be like, when you're not arguing and on the same page, being able to say like, Dad, what exactly happened here? What messed up? Are those conversations got to be beneficial?
Yeah. So basically after every game, even at some practices, I go home and just watch film with my dad on the TV. We airdrop it. So. There's a lot of information and knowledge I can get from him, so I try to just milk it out of him as much as I can.
I love it. Gavin, I'm trying to think. I had dumb questions for you last time. I don't want to repeat the dumb questions I had. So we'll do this. What's the most fun you had this summer that didn't involve football?
Oh, so I went down to the Dominican this.
Whoa!
Yeah, me and my family, my girlfriend and her family, we all went down Punta Cana this year.
Yes.
Right on our dead week.
So that's where I went on my honeymoon, and you're going your summer of your junior year. That's a good trip.
Yeah, I mean it's for my spring break next year. I don't get one next year.
So. Okay, that makes sense. Wyatt, what's the most fun you had this summer besides football?
I didn't take a big trip like Gavin, but I would say just hang out with my friends all summer. I mean that's the guys I hang out with the most and have a lot of fun with. So
he sounded like his dad when he threw a little jab at you too. You know that. Wyatt, what's the is there a pregame tradition here, postgame tradition? Like if you guys get a big win tonight, what happens? Do you guys go to a certain place to eat, Buffalo Wild? Is there a certain thing you guys do after games, especially victories?
Yeah. So last year it was obviously only had 4 wins, so he can really. But it was Canes. We go to Canes.
Okay.
Then a few of the defensive guys come to my hot tub. So.
Okay, there you go.
A little recovery.
Canes in a hot tub. That's not bad. Not bad at all. I think did I ask you favorite food last time I talked to you?
I don't remember.
Good, and I don't either. So like if you're Canes is obviously a good choice, but if you're going to be fat like me someday, where are you going to pig out if you could?
If I'm going to be after football?
Yeah, just anytime.
I'm probably going to sit in McDonald's for a few hours.
Just sitting at McDonald's for a few hours.
We started doing.
What's your McDonald's order?
Oh shit! Oh,
you're good. It's YouTube. We're good.
All right. So generally it's probably like a 2 or 3/4 pounders, probably a 6 to 8 piece chicken nugget, and then some large fries.
Good
and a
Lord.
Shake too.
You do know metabolism's gonna go away someday.
Well, right now I need it to slow down a little bit.
Exactly. Well, it slows down real fast. Trust me. Are you guys superstitious, Wyatt? And as a team or yourself, are there any superstitions you have?
I don't really have any, to be honest.
That doesn't surprise me. Gavin, do you have any?
We got a new superstition the other day. The hawk flew over the trees over there, so Coach Freking and Wiley were freaking out about that. Apparently that means that's a big game that the Bulldogs are going to win. So.
Okay. So you want to see that hawk as much as possible?
Oh, yeah, we want to see that hawk every week.
I love it. Last one for you guys before you guys get out of here. If you weren't playing football, what other sport? You're both going to be playing in college. If you could play a different sport in college, what would it be and why? I'll start with Wyatt. No football. You don't have to be. I'll make you good at it too. Like so, you don't have to worry about being good or bad. Like I'll make you good at it.
I would say basketball. There's something about basketball. It's like the aura you get from that. It's kind of cool. You know, banging threes, dunking on some guys maybe. So.
Have you played? Did you play a lot?
No, I played like 2 years really back in the day. So
all right, we'll make you good, and you'll be dunking and everything. Gavin?
He kind of stole mine too. I think just I mean, you saw where the Hawks went last year, going to the. I think being able to be a part of that, if I wasn't playing football, would be pretty sweet.
Are you any good at basketball?
Oh no, all I can do is dunk.
That's the thing too, because like, have you guys ever seen Pat Anger play basketball?
No.
Awful. Like, he's one of the worst basketball players I've ever seen. I school him all the time. Ask him about it. He'll tell me that I'm lying. But hey, guys, great job. I appreciate it. Best of luck today. Get a victory and have a great season. All right.
Yep.
All right. That is Gavin Stecker and Wyatt Freking right here on Off There with Matt Randazzo. We got more to get to. Aaron Wiley's roaming around. I'm trying to look at he's late, but he's roaming around. He should be down here. And we got to talk about the Illinois side of the river as well. So we got a little more to get to. You're watching OTA. It's a Friday right here from TouVelle Stadium. We'll be right back. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. We are not in the loft hanging out at my house. We are live at TouVelle Stadium, Bettendorf, Iowa. Bettendorf PV kicking off the season tonight here. Great game, week 1 of the high school football season, and we're joined now by the one and only Aaron Wiley. Thank you for getting up from your nap inside, coming on down and hanging out.
Hey, I'm leaving government class to talk to you, man. I don't know. I don't know.
Hey, that's a downgrade. That's a downgrade.
Yeah, you're definitely a downgrade.
Yeah. Obviously, we talk almost every season, and the seasons come quick. Yeah. And most coaches are probably like, man, I could use a week or two more. How prepared? Are you ready to just go hit and see what you got?
Well, you're never properly ready because there's always stuff you can work on. But yeah, we can't wait to play. It feels like I've been doing this for a million years. The preseason has been going forever. You start in the summer, and it's a grind. And everybody's ready to go.
No, absolutely. It is Bettendorf PV. It's nothing new because it's the first week of the season. It's been that way for a while. It's a special rivalry. Tell me about the rivalry. Like, when you hear Bettendorf PV, do I make too much of it, or is it as big of a rivalry as the dumb media says?
I always try to take I don't care who we're playing, we're preparing for a game. But let's be honest, for the kids, it's a bigger deal just because I think everybody knows each other. I mean, their school's whatever it is, 5 miles that way, and our kids grow up playing like the youth sports with their kids, and a lot of the families know each other and all that. So I guess for the kids in the community, it for me personally, we just try to approach it as a game, and do the things to get ready to play.
Absolutely. So. What do you know about your guys' this year yet. I mean, obviously some guys that got good experience at young ages last year, and while it's frustrating to go through and having a 4-5 season, you know that there's usually benefits down the road if you're playing young kids. What do you like so far?
Well, what I tell our guys every year, whether you win a state title or you have a year like we did last year, it doesn't matter. It's over. So last year's done. You can't change what happened last year, and now these guys got to write their chapter. So that's the same conversation every year, regardless. I guess if you look for silver lining from last year, we got all kinds of guys back. Everybody, our whole front seven played, started. We got our quarterback back. We got 2 of our top 3 receivers back. We got several offensive linemen back. So a lot of experienced kids, You got a linebacker who's going to play in the Big Ten. He'll be a 3-year starter. Nick Shy is a D lineman. He'll be a 3-year starter. Tyler Nielsen in the secondary will be a 3-year starter. You just had Wyatt Freking out here. He was all conference last year. And several of those other guys played a lot of quality minutes and started a bunch of games. So, we have experience, which I guess, the older guy, the experienced guys got to help the young guys get up to speed, and let's see where we are.
You mentioned some talented kids, but you mentioned some leaders, I think, as well. And I know you're one of those guys that the seniors will lead, the experience will lead. You've got some guys that have, like you mentioned, been around for a while on the field, but probably off the field as well, getting everything. Is it nice having a senior foundation or an experienced foundation like that they can kind of lead the way?
Well, yeah, you have to always, it seems like most years you have 6, 8, 10 seniors that played a bunch the year before. And, you rely on them because they've been through it. This year, we just happen to have way more of them. Yeah. So I guess, that's good, especially at key positions. The quarterback being back is a big deal. Obviously, a Stecker is a big deal, and then, you build around those guys.
No, absolutely. One thing I want to talk to you when you came out here is you look around this TouVelle Stadium, and it gets nicer and better every year. The scoreboard's not new, but it's newer. The press box looks great, and I don't think people realize where all that came from and how it happened. Can you kind of tell that backstory a little bit?
So 2 families, two former Bulldogs, tragically passed away, I guess in 2024. And let me just go real quick through them. So. Steve Lampy, if you're a Bettendorf guy from back in the day, everybody knew Lampy. He, before my time, he was an 81 graduate, so on their first state championship team. And he was born with cerebral palsy. So he was wheelchair bound his whole life. And I guess at that time in 81, they had him as a manager, and he was around. And when they won the state title, he was on the field and did all that. And when I got here in 1996, he was around, and Randy Scott, when Randy Scott was the head coach, he was a volunteer coach. So he was Coach Lampy. And he'd had our call sheet, and he'd have our plays, and he was at practice every day. And he loved it. Great guy. Yeah. Great guy. And our kids just really gravitated towards him. He was great. And I know Anger especially was really tight with him. When Pat went to Iowa, Lampy started kind of going up there and was hung around the Iowa program a little bit. And so anyway, with him, his health kind of started deteriorating, and in 2024 he passed away. The second one was Parker Quayle, who was a defensive end for us in, it would have been 03, I think. So I think he was a year ahead of Anger and those guys. Yep. So great story on him. He's a classic story of what we preach here. He came in, I remember him as a freshman. He was this skinny little looked kind of like you, kind of like a 110-pound.
Bless you. I'll take that these days.
Like a little tiny 110-pound kid that I don't think he started on the freshman team. We had 2 freshman teams back then. I don't think he started as a sophomore, a junior. But what the kid did is he loved the weight room, and he loved to train, and he just embraced everything we talked about and the work ethic and all those things. So by his senior year, he worked himself into it. He was an all-conference defensive end. Anyway, went off in his life and was successful, made money, had a great professional career. Anyway, tragically, cancer took him at a way young age. So both of those 2 died right around the same, within a week of each other. And both of them, this is just, to me, it's still unbelievable when I say this, they wanted to leave money, not just to Bettendorf or to whatever, but to the Bettendorf football program. And combined between them was $1 million.
Wow.
They left us $1 million.
Wow.
For the football program, which to me is, my God, man, that's just unbelievable, the generosity, and we're just really, really humbled by what they did. So we were able to, the scoreboard you see back there is brand new. By the way, if you're looking for a new career, getting the scoreboard selling business,
pricey.
You can't imagine. So, but we used to have
scoreboard.
it's great. And so the scoreboard, and then we got a bunch of new weight equipment in our weight room, new flooring. Again, getting that business, the commission those guys make must be, because the amount of money you got to pay for that stuff. To have nice stuff costs a lot of money, but that $1 million went, and then the rest of it helped to renovate our press box. So those two guys, man, Lampy, I'll always remember. I remember him always being around, so always smiling, and Parker Quayle, just the work ethic and how, he's the classic example of if you work hard, good things happen, and both of them taken way too soon. So.
Is that a great reminder of like what the program, the effect it should have on kids' lives? And you mentioned like they didn't just say, hey, Bettendorf for this, they said Bettendorf football.
Right.
I mean, yes, championships are great, winning is great, not MAC championships back in the day, but district championships now. Right. But it's the impact you have on kids' lives all the way through that probably has to feel pretty good too, right?
Well, you try to preach that, man. We always tell them this is life lessons. I always say football's like life, in a lot of ways. You get knocked down and you got to get up, and bad things happen. You got to deal with adversity, and you got to find a way to get through hard times. And football is a great metaphor for life, I guess. You hope you never know what kind of impact you have on people a lot of times till you see them later, and those guys. I'm just unbelievably humbled by what those guys did.
No, absolutely. Aaron Wiley joining us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, getting him out of class, hanging out outside. It's not that bad. You look at, I just talked to you about I've talked to a lot of coaches this last couple weeks, and it's week 1 here in Iowa, and you've never coached in Illinois.
Right.
But like sometimes you feel like, man, it's already week 1, and then you guys they moved it up 1. Just your thoughts on that. I know it's a different state, but if you were coaching over there, is it tough, difficult? Is your summers already tight enough? Or
what really affected us, I guess, is a few years ago when they changed the rules in the summer, they changed the rules in the preseason. I remember in the old days, we had 2-a-days and all that. Mm-hmm. We used to here when I got here, we had 3-a-days. So we'd come in at 7 in the morning till like 10. We'd come back from noon to like 2, and then we'd come back from 5 till like 8. And it seemed like you did that for about 6 months. It seemed like but for a while. But my point is, you had a lot of times to practice, and so the state came in a few years ago, and I think probably rightfully, they didn't want people, dying doing this stuff. Yeah. So, but the point is, they shortened what you're allowed to do in the preseason. So what it forces you to do is be way more efficient this summer. Yeah. So summers, I remember in the old days, summers were we'd throw the ball around a little bit and maybe do some 7-on-7 stuff. But really, we've kind of full on went to football practices. Because if you don't do that, there's no way you can get yourself ready to play a game like this soon. So your question was, would I like to move up? I don't know, man. Whatever. We'll just, whatever the rules are, we'll try to be ready.
It's funny because you mentioned I loved it 2-a-days because we were always trying to get previews. Yeah. And so it gave us a chance to, I could go get 2 previews in the morning because teams are practicing in the morning, and then they'd be back in the afternoon. And now everybody was at the same time, and it was 3 to 5 or 3:30 to 5, whatever it is. So it is much different. Off the field wise, what's the most fun you had this summer that didn't involve football? You can't bring football into this.
I did a really cool thing. So my son just graduated from college. He's a cross-country and track guy in college. And what he did this summer, he did there was a thing called the Relay for America. They ran the American flag from across America from San Francisco to Washington, D.C. And it finished in Washington, D.C. on the 4th. So he was able to help be a part of that all the way across. So we went out to D.C. and watched them when they finished with the flag coming in.
Did he run part of it?
Yeah, he ran. They were 12-mile legs. Yeah. And then, so he was on the crew that took him through.
He would run several of them.
Oh, yeah, he ran probably over 100 miles on the whole thing.
Did you run any for him?
Do I look like I ran for him? No, so that was a cool thing for him. He was a big part of that. And, those distance runners are crazy. They're wired way different than us. But so we got to go out to D.C. and finish that. And we were in Washington on the 4th of July for the fireworks and for that whole thing. And that was kind of cool to see all that on the 4th.
I'm going to ask a question I know the answer to, but are you superstitious at all?
I don't know, man.
That's a yes.
Yeah, a little bit always.
Okay, give me one. You don't have to give me the weird ones. I don't know what you're wearing underneath there or anything like that.
Probably good. Yeah.
But is there give me something. Give me one.
Wow. Well, I know whenever over the years, if there's ever something goes really bad in a game, or we have a terrible game or do whatever, those clothes get fired. And they never get worn again. So, there's other little things, but I always, I stick to the same routine. But that's the main one I can think of is if something bad happens, those clothes get put in the never wear again bin.
I love it.
So maybe a little bit of that.
If you weren't doing this, coaching, teaching, what would you be doing?
Oh God!
Besides a popular podcast every day.
Yeah, I'd be
Don't
coming
say
with
that.
you, man.
No,
I'd be
you
your
would.
assistant guy.
There
That's
you
a
go.
good question. And that's probably
That's a good
an
question.
answer to
I'm the
that
best in the
question.
business.
An
Of
answer
course
to
it's a good question.
An answer to that I need to figure out probably sooner than later because
Yeah.
there'll be a time when, I'm not doing this anymore somewhere soon, and I got to figure that out. No, that's a great question. My honest answer to that is I don't know. I've been coaching football for, 36 years now.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what else I would do if I wasn't doing this. I started it in 1991.
Well, the good news is you don't have to go back and do it again. Like
Yeah.
you're good to.
Yeah.
With that being said, go 36 years ago, go now, and there's a lot that's changed. But so what's the biggest difference
from back then to now?
And then what's the same? Is the similarity is football still football?
Yeah, I think there's little things that have changed in football. The schemes and some of that are different. To me, the biggest glaring thing I think is different is the year-round nature of all the sports. I remember like when I was in high school, and probably you were in high school. Everybody played football if you were an athlete, then everybody wrestled or played basketball, and everybody track, baseball, whatever. Now there wasn't specialization. I mean, nobody just played one sport. It seemed like everybody just went from. And once the season was over, it was kind of over. Obviously, that's you got kids. You know how the year-round stuff goes. So there's pressures on these kids by all these sports and all these clubs to do their one thing year-round. So I think that's been, to me, structurally maybe the biggest change in not just football but everything. And I know going through that as a parent with my kid, I think girl sports are probably easier than the guy ones. I had a daughter. My daughter played volleyball and played soccer in high school, and good God, man, that was really hard to manage that with the club part of it. I mean, the high school coaches were fine, but it's the club stuff.
Yes.
Because club volleyball is in the spring when they're playing soccer, and club soccer is in the fall when they're playing volleyball, and that was a really, I think, just hard for her to manage. But I mean, it's tough on these kids, man. You got to be, because they want to please their coaches. And at the end of the day, kids are kids, man. They're not a whole lot different than when we were kids. They're just, and it's harder a little bit too with the social media and the stuff they have. But X and O wise, football is still kind of football. There have been some little changes here and there to it, but in general, it's all still the same.
No, absolutely. When you look at it too, I'm going to get my. When you look at it too, I always say the specialization is crazy, and you look at it. Everybody should be doing everything and playing as many things as they possibly can. And it's hard. I mean, and I'll go to this. I've done this a long time. When high school gets done, the vast majority of these kids are going to be doing what I did, go to school and or becoming, So it's like it makes it really difficult to balance both.
Yeah,
things.
and that's what bugs me a little about it. I guess I look at it this way: if you don't like football, then don't play football. But if you're a kid that likes football, and you got some club guy telling you, "Oh, you need to come do this. You're going to get a scholarship." First of all, no, you're not.
Yep.
The very, very, very few kids.
Like I always say, I hate saying kids. So you're not. There are obvious. And you know what? If you're a D1 athlete and you know you're going to go play, play. I remember I always said to Chase and Randall, did you ever play baseball? Did you ever play football? He's like, I loved it, but I'm like, well, no, but that makes sense because you're going to Stanford and you're going to play in the NBA and those kind of things. But those are few and far between.
Exactly. And I always tell kids, man, look, you're young once. Pretty soon you're going to blink and this is all over, and all you're going to have is the memories of it. And we push our kids to try to do multiple sports, and the high school coaches here are pretty good. A lot of times it's these club guys though that are trying to reel them in because they get money from them. And if you come to this, you're going to these colleges are going to be there.
It's a big business. I don't know if you knew this, but youth sports is a big business.
The colleges are going to find you, and realistically, if you aren't, I'm just talking football wise, if you're not 6'4" and can't run, the Big Ten's not calling, man.
Yeah, genetics are a thing. Yeah. Genetics are a thing. And there's other sports too. I mean, baseball, if you can't run and throw, basketball, there's not a lot of, 5'10" guys playing in the Big Ten. So it's, I just look at it, if you enjoy the sports, you should do it all. But again, it's their decision. And I get the pressures, man, because like I said, I've been through it as a parent, with the pressures that get put on these kids. I understand it. So I'll let you go. One more question. So you've done this for a while. Do you have this is probably for a later show, but do you have favorite memories? What can you cherry pick certain this state championship or
I remember all of it, man. The hard part, I guess, honestly for me, I remember the bad things a lot of times too, and that makes it tough. I can remember in great detail games we lost in the playoffs over the years. I can remember exactly what went wrong in this and what went wrong in that, and you think about decisions you made and how you wish you should have done this instead. I mean, and then obviously, I remember I've had a chance to be a part of 2 state championship teams, and those memories are great. But I think probably more than anything, you just remember the people that you're with. the kids, and then you remember all the great people you coach. But I've had great coaches here, great people we've had a chance to work with.
Does it make you feel old? Last one for you, when you have a Wyatt Freking. And I hear there's an anger as a freshman up here running around, and like,
I know
does that kind of stuff make you? It makes me feel old. I get to the point where I'm like, I covered your dad, and now you're playing, so you can't like.
I coached Stecker's dad too.
Yeah,
I coached him, and I remember, first one of those. It's been a while ago since I had that Nakima a few years ago. We had 2 Nakima brothers that played, and I coached their dad. My first year was a senior back in the '90s. I'm like, so right away I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, that's part of the deal, and there's great families here. There's a great tradition here, and just tough, hardworking kids, and I think you should remember the people you're around more than anything, I guess. But yeah, there's a lot of great memories here.
It's good to have those kids. Those last names are good lineage. God, the more the merrier when it comes to the Frekings and Steckers and Angers of the world when it comes to Bettendorf football. Hey, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Thanks, my friend. We got more to get to. We're going to hop the river to Illinois. We're going to preview the Illinois side of the river with Mitch Stormer from View from the West, all that and much more right after this. You're watching OTA from TouVelle Stadium. We'll be right back.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Friday in the Quad Cities. We take a timeout from TouVelle Stadium back in the studio to kind of focus on the Illinois side of the river. Of course, it's week 1 in Iowa, but it's week 2 in Illinois. And I think you find out the biggest jumps can be from week 1 and week 2, or we kind of clarify a few things of overreactions maybe from week 1. So joining me to talk about week 1 on the Illinois side of the river, our good friend Mitch Stormer from View from the West podcast. How are you, my friend? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Dazzo.
Are you ready for week 2? And some normalcy?
Yeah, I think so. I still think and you just kind of mentioned it, maybe the overreactions or whatever the sentiment was following week 1, especially a week 1 that was bogged down by a lot of weather. Mm-hmm. I said on our show this week, not everything is as it seems right now. So I do think we'll find a little bit more clarity in week 2. But I still think we'll maybe have some teams that are sitting at 0-2 that are not 0-2 teams, and my prospectus of their season will not change.
Yeah, you look at it's funny, you overreact on a week 1. We'll talk about the track in a second, but Ty was on Wednesday, and I'm like, it's weird. You look at Monmouth Roseville and Rock Ridge. I mean, they're both coming in off losses, and like Ty's like, no, like they won, and I'm like, oh, that's right, but like the way they won, and you almost
right,
like you're like. And we'll talk about Rock Ridge in a second, but people almost, upset about a win, if that makes any sense. The bottom line is they still won, and that's a beautiful thing. So that matchup we'll talk about in a second. Well, I want to start in the track. We're going to go to something maybe off the field or unfortunately involving the actual football itself. But Sherrard on Tuesday announcing after this Friday, good game against Orion, rivalry game. They're going to go JV only. We knew during the summer we had heard, thoughts or maybe concerns if they would finish the season or have a varsity football team. No one likes to see it. No schools are happy to do it. I think it's the right decision for what's best for that program. Your thoughts on what happened on Tuesday?
Yeah, like you mentioned, over the summer and when we did our track preview with Ty, who's been on your show this week, it was kind of that was the thought. It was more of a concern that if they were going to try to do a varsity schedule with a lot of underclassmen and no low numbers as it is, I don't know how A, sustainable that would be, or B, how beneficial that would be to the program. So that was the tough crossroads that Coach Weigel and that athletic department had to come to. But ultimately, yes, I agree with what you just said. It's a tough decision. It's a decision that we have seen area schools have to make in the past, whether it be your Allman Pioneers or whether it was Riverdale Rams of a couple years ago. But I don't think that decision was made hastily. I think they knew going into this season what they were up against. They gave a valiant effort against a very good Newman team. You saw how well they played. It's just in comparison, they're not there just yet. So, no, I think it's the right call. It's unfortunate for the seniors, obviously. And maybe it's disappointing for the community, but if you look at it from a higher view, sometimes you just have to reset a little bit. And if what they have put in place now, I think it's the right call. So it's unfortunate for the teams in the track that maybe either have to find a replacement game or now have another bye week. But for Sherrard itself, it's just taken one step back to take two steps forward when they come back.
Yeah, you look at it, and I think people focus on the freshman class out there, which is rightfully so. It's a good class, and Ty said, "Hey, if you keep that class together, like the good things will come." But if you have those young people, not just the freshmen, but those younger kids, go out each and every week this season and play against juniors and seniors, and get beat up, maybe they might not come out the next year. And so it's about keeping those kids' interest in football.
And that's the thing. It's like you see the comments online, and I'm not taking any stock in Facebook comments, but the people who come in and be like, "Oh, back in our day, we played offense, defense, and special teams." Like, yeah, when you were a senior, I'm sure you did, and that's fine. People still do that now. There's a big difference when you're 18 and when you're 14. So that's the key thing. Is just the age of these players. It's in their best interest to not have, especially in the track too, right? Where you do play a lot of bigger schools. So if you get beat up, not only are you risking a physical injury, but then, like you just said, the psychological aspect of it, where it's like, well, I'm not going to go out there and do all this work just to get beat 40-0. So, no, I think it was a good call, and I think in the long run, we'll look back at this and agree that it was the right thing to do.
And I point out, I was with him last night. Pat Anger played in the league for 4 years and All-American linebacker, and he laughs and says I was 140 pounds when I was a freshman and would have got my butt kicked playing varsity football, and he did okay in football. So yes, there's different. You can, like the Charles Jugasols of the world that was ready as a freshman to play. Those come around, and every school's probably got some. But if you're relying on your freshman and sophomore classes to carry you on the varsity level, the majority of those kids aren't ready to play high school football. So we wish Sherrard the best of luck. We'll talk about that game with Orion tonight because I think it's going to be interesting in a second. Let's go to the Western Big Six first. I guess your headline from the Western Big Six last week was what?
Kind of back to my opening comments. I have no different outlook on Moline than I did prior going into that game. I don't know that I ever officially picked if I thought they would beat Rochester, but they proved that they belong. And I know that there's a class discrepancy there, but that when you're talking about Rochester, it really doesn't matter. They're one of the best teams, not only in 4A, but in the state of Illinois. They're well coached, they're well talented, and again, you get the weather. Moline had a lot of momentum early on. The crowd was hot. The weather just kind of killed that. Not saying that the game would have ended any differently had that not been the case, but you play that game again, I think it looks a little bit differently. So as long as they're healthy, I know that Carey and Warren both came out of the game. As long as Moline has their health, they're going to be just fine. Outside of that, a great gutsy win from Geneseo, as we've come to know them to do. And Quincy looked great. Another team that had a gutsy win on a last-second field goal. So I think the Western Big Six, too, is yet again an example of week 2 we'll get a little bit more answers that maybe we just, because of various factors in week 1, we didn't get to just yet.
You mentioned Moline. They go on the road to Sycamore. It doesn't get much easier, but it is. I don't want to say easier because Coach Morrissey probably doesn't agree with that. But it's not right. It's not what they had last week. But it's a tough opponent on the road. What do you expect from Moline? And yes, I think they win tonight. I think they go 1-1. But if they go 1-2, it's probably not the end of the world at all. But like, you feel like you want to go on the road and get things back in the win column, don't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure that was the message within the Moline football program this entire week. So another tough opponent. Like you said, Sycamore, always a tough matchup for any school. But I don't think they're on the same par as Rochester. So I do think Moline bounces back this week. I expect them to get a win tonight.
You mentioned Geneseo, a walk-off field goal to win it. I've talked to several people that were at the game. And yes, I talked to a referee at the game. I talked to the guy who called the game on MC22. Talked to a lot of people over there. I think they were impressed with Assumption. I said, "How's Assumption?" They're like, "They're good. They're going to be a good football team. 6 wins, 7 wins." But the score wasn't indicative of the game. Yeah, they had to use a field goal to walk off and win it, but Geneseo kind of controlled the line of scrimmage, ran the football really well. Obviously, 2 pick sixes by Assumption made it a very close game, and Geneseo survived. You look, anytime you win, it's great, but I think Geneseo's close victory could have been a couple score victory if they cleaned some things up. I was overly impressed with what Geneseo did last week, but they go on the road. I mean, not the road. They come back home and they catch their breath. And here comes Rochelle for the third time in what? I think it's third time in a year that they're going to play Rochelle.
It's like 6 games or something like that. It seems like. No, I had questions on Geneseo coming into the year just because I didn't know how they were going to replace Jackson McAvoy at quarterback because he was such a good leader of that offense. And they, look no further. Like they found their guy. They're doing just fine, I think, because the only times Assumption scored were on 2 pick sixes. So maybe we don't need to pass the ball as much anymore, right? Let's just run it. But defensively, they looked really good. So if Assumption is as good as you've heard, then that's a really good defensive outing, and I think Geneseo is going to be set up for a long time. But you got guys like Mark Nelms, you got Jack Mickley, and you've got Luca. I'm going to try and pronounce his name right. Turigliotti. Shout out to Dan Pearson for helping me out with that one. So I think their offense is going to be fine, and if their defense continues to play like they did against Assumption, Geneseo is going to make a run at this.
Thoughts for tonight? Rochelle, I know Rochelle replaces a lot from last year as well, but it's hard to beat a team. I guess they did. They lost the first matchup and then won the second matchup when they counted in the playoffs. So it's
right.
Obviously, and the rivalry is there. Your thoughts on tonight at beautiful Bob Reed Field?
Yeah, the tiebreaker in the series, right? I did come away impressed because I think that Geneseo left some points on the table while just handing points to Assumption. So no, I'm high on Geneseo tonight too. I think they will get the win against Rochelle.
I want to talk about Sterling real quick in the Western Big Six because you have I think if you told me that they were trailing Metamora by 3 with a minute to go and they end up losing by 10, you not almost like Sterling wouldn't have taken it, but like I think if you're from the outside looking in, you're like, hey, that's good. I mean, Metamora is Metamora. But the fact that they didn't score is weird to me because I think we expected that offense with the pieces and the weapons to be the strengths of the team. What did you take out of game 1? And then they get Hansberry tonight back at home. Your thoughts on last week and then what happens this week for the Golden Warriors?
I mean, man, it was a 10 o'clock kickoff after a 2.5 hour delay against a really good Metamora team. It's tough, and I think they did have their chances. They had a couple of turnovers. I think they went forward on fourth down and just didn't get it. So it looked like a week one performance, I guess, against a good team. So Coach Schlemmer is certainly not going to be happy with that. I'm sure the players aren't going to be happy with that at all whatsoever. Tonight, though, you got a CPL team coming in. You're going to see that Sterling offense the way that we think that they can. This will be tune-up work. They'll get back on track tonight. And same thing with United Township. I think United Township played well last week, and I think you'll see them continue to get better, and we'll see what they're capable of tonight against Noble München.
Rock Island hosts Dunlap, a tough opponent there. Second straight week they have a tough opponent. See if Rock Island can get rolling. I'm intrigued with Galesburg and Limestone because Galesburg lost to that Dunlap team 48-21 last week. But this is one of those games that if you start looking at Galesburg's schedule and starting to piece together, 3, 4, 5 victories, like it probably has to start tonight. How big of a game is tonight for Galesburg?
I think you're right on. I think this is a winnable game. It was a game they won last year, so Galesburg looked fine against Dunlap. That's a high bar to compare yourself against. Dunlap's a really good, I might have said Dunbar just there. Dunlap's a really good team, but I thought Galesburg held their own. So I do expect them to also get the win against Limestone. And yeah, the criteria to get into the postseason is lesser than it has been. So you have to win these types of games, and I think Galesburg will do that tonight.
Mitch Stormer joining us on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Last one of the Western Break 6. I didn't want to go through every one of them, but we basically did. But Quincy did win last week. What do you know about Little Village?
Nothing. This will be a running clock pretty quick. So I don't know much about them, which is the insight you come to view from the West for. But
Chicago team, right?
yeah, it's a CPL team.
Gotcha.
I think. No. Look, outside of that, regardless of who they were playing, in the game against O'Fallon last week, this was going to be a new look offense, new look team altogether for Quincy with some new names. Another Little at quarterback, threw for 240 some yards, and it's business as usual for the Blue Devils. So I think the same with Sterling, United Township, Quincy. I think you're going to see big wins tonight, and maybe we'll get a better idea of those teams than we did last week.
Yeah, we'll have a better vibe on the Instant Reacts tonight because some Western Break 6 teams will. Yeah,
well, 2 and 5, and the games won't be still going on probably. So
God bless you. Hopefully that's the case as well. And like 2 and 5 last week for the Western Break 6. I think you can look at Moline, and yes, it's a loss, but then it's 3 and 4 because they played well, and I think that's a very quality win or very quality loss. And then I think this week you could almost, I don't want to say flip it, but Rocky's got a tough one with Dunlap, but anyway, the record could be much better tonight for the Western Break 6.
It'll look a lot better.
Good deal. Let's go to the track. The marquee game there is Rock Ridge and Monmouth Roseville. Every time the last several years those two teams plays, it's a big time high school football game. Rock Ridge won last week, and I said, I joked because it almost feels like they lost, but they won. And Monmouth Roseville went on the road. I think we both think that Erie Prophetstown's a really good football team, and they were right there in the end against that team on the road. I don't think it's a bad loss for Monmouth Roseville. How important is this week 2 game for both teams?
It's still a cross-division game, so is it as important as what the next 7 weeks look like? No, not in that context, but just how you stack up against one of the best in the area, not only within your conference, but and certainly they play in different classes when it comes to the postseason, but you're going to want to be challenged by any team that you play. So from that perspective, I think it's important. I think both teams come into this week wanting something to prove. As you mentioned, Rock Ridge maybe didn't play that well last week. I don't want to take away from what Kewanee did, but I think if you spoke to anybody from Rock Ridge, they would want to play better. And Monmouth Roseville, they're going to be hungry. I don't think they played necessarily poorly, but they're going to be itching to get on that field tonight. So that should be a really good game. There could be some news coming out about that coming up. I'm not going to speculate that this morning on that. So we'll see. That could get interesting, but for either team, I'm not going to say it's must win at all, just because, again, they're in different sides of this conference, but they're both in a position where they want to prove something from last week.
It's funny with this game. I mean, we're going to look at the the featured players and the Montroy on one side and Schweigen. I think there's some really good high school football players in this game, but for me, it's up front with both teams and who dictates the line of scrimmage in this game. If Monmouth Roseville can play Monmouth Roseville football, the trenches in every game is important. It's a duh comment, but like I think this game more than ever, the trenches are important. I had Monmouth Roseville. And I live out here in Rock Ridge area, so I gotta be careful. But I did in the in Ty's WRMJ picks. I had Monmouth Roseville tonight. Who'd you go with?
Picked Monmouth Roseville. I think they played really well against a good Erie Provincetown team. You saw Montroy and Bergen, like they did what I expect them to do all season. So this is a very, very good, talented team with Coach Adelson once again this year. So I went with Monmouth Roseville tonight.
Yeah. Another really good game in that conference is maybe a game we wouldn't have thought of before week one, but you mentioned Kewanee last week, and we knew they'd be better. Yeah. They were 0-9 last year. They went to Rock Ridge and they were winning with 2 minutes to go or whatever it is. End up losing 31-27. They get a very good Newman team that probably wasn't tested. I think we can all agree to last week against Sherrard. I don't know if Kewanee's on Newman's level. I'm not calling for an upset. I still have Newman winning that game, but that's a different game now than it was last Friday at this time, is it not?
It sure is. You have Kewanee, who should be feeling really good about themselves the way that they played against Rock Ridge, and you have Newman, who, yes, completely dominated and looked good, but they weren't tested. So this is an interesting game. It really is. So I picked Newman here. I do think Newman will win, but it'll be closer than I thought it would have been before the season started for sure. Because they're just coming at this from two different angles, and it's interesting. But I'm going comments tonight.
Yeah, I have comments still as well, but like you mentioned, and I think Kewanee's going to have fun this season. Like, hats off to what they've done, and I kept hearing all summer they're going to be a lot better. They're going to be a lot better, and I think they showed it last week, and they just happened to open the season with Rock Ridge and Newman back to back. I mean, that's tough for anybody. And that we mentioned Orion and Sherrard. Like, I picked Orion and the WRMJ pick'em, but that's the one. I think that's the game I sat there going. Besides the first one, Rock Ridge and Monmouth Roseville is always a tough one as well. But I mean, am I the only? I did Orion, but it wouldn't be crazy for, like, Chris Berman used to say nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Like, nobody circles the wagon. I mean, that's a school that this is their senior night. This is their last varsity game of the season. It's that rival they don't like down the road. I don't know enough about Orion yet. I mean, I don't think anybody does. The new coach, different look from last year. Your thoughts on this game? Am I nuts to think this is going to be a pretty good football game?
I don't think so at all. You saw signs of the fight that Sherrard can bring with all of the obstacles that they have on that roster. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying with the freshmen and sophomores that they play. So, no, I think this could very well be an interesting game. And there's a lot of intrigue with this being the last varsity game of the season for Sherrard. What's the motivation like there? And for Orion to come back from last week as well in a big rivalry game, hard to do that in week 2. So no, you're absolutely right that this could be a big game. I also went with Orion in this one. Would not surprise me if Sherrard came away victorious. And what a story that would be.
Last team I want to talk about in the track, and if people are watching this and they're like, what about my team? Go to the View from the West podcast and just sit back, relax this afternoon before high school football and listen to your team, because they do a great job covering it in more time than I obviously have. But I can't talk about the track right now without talking about Brian Stocking's Riverdale Rams. They go on the road to Hall, but I think they probably won week 1 in the conference when it comes to most impressive victory and maybe the team trending in the best direction. I hate the fact that Stockpile said something crazy in my mind, on the View from the West opening kickoff show, and he might be. I mean, it's not. I'm not saying they're 9-0 right now yet. They got a lot of games to play, a lot of tough games, but boy, they looked really, really good, didn't they?
Yeah, they sure did. So yes, you are right that was the most, I think, impressive performance of week 1 in this conference. Maybe maybe Erie Prophetstown shined a little bit brighter, but no, I Riverdale's got a great shot to make a significant run here, and what a story that's been with Coach Diericks and that program. Again, we talk about the things that Sherrard is going through now. That was Riverdale 3-4 years ago. So this is a sign that you can have that reset, and it's for very good reason, because here is your example right here with the Riverdale Rams. So I picked Riverdale tonight to beat Hall. They came away from that week 1 game against Princeton a little banged up. So we'll see kind of moving forward if that's going to affect Riverdale. I don't think it will be. It's such a good program that's that the culture there is ready for next man up mentality type of thing. So I'm excited for the Rams this season, and yeah, I do believe they will get the win tonight against Hall.
Let's move to the LLC. I feel like I was LLC guy this week because I had Tony Grip on the show earlier this week. Yeah. I had Pat Elder on, and the 2 teams that had fun wins and good victories. What stands out to you in that conference? I know it's as we talked with Coach Grip, Anawan, Wethersfield, and A-Town seems like a really interesting matchup. What when you look at the LLC, what stands out to you? What game do you like the most?
One that I like the most, I think it's, well, you talked to Coach Grip. I think it's A-Town and Anawan Wethersfield. Our player of the week came from A-Town for the first time in our show's history. Riker Darce was the player of the week. He ran for 248 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, and they had 2 runners last week, Dazzle, that were over 200 yards. So I think they and Geneseo both put up around 475 yards of rushing last week. So they were fighting for that. They were fighting for that Godfather's pizza, but Geneseo ended up getting the edge there. But in the LLC, that's an intriguing game. Talked about Coach Elder. Great win for Bureau Valley last week. See if they can get to 2-0 against the St. Bede team that lost to Fulton last week. And outside of that, Farmington and Stark County, always a good game. Both teams are 1-0. Farmington, just a weird start to their game against Havana last week, but then I think they scored 24 unanswered. So, and Stark County looked good against South Fulton. So, yes, in week 2 of the LLC, in all these crossover games between the 3 divisions, there's intrigue. But if I had to pick one, it's Anawan Wethersfield at A-Town, because I was very impressed with A-Town last week.
Last one for you. The NUIC is always fascinating each week. What is is Lena Winslow playing the Bears tonight? Is Stockton playing the Detroit Lions? Like they want to play any and everybody. What's the matchup this week in the NUIC?
If you go to Lena, they're playing a Darlington team who is like the Lena Winslow of Wisconsin. So it's a very, very good team. And same with Stockton playing a co-op in Blackhawk Warren. You could see, Matt, the top 2 teams in 1A be 0-2 and still be ranked maybe 1-2.
That's crazy.
And that
right now they
cause
are.
a fire. Right, they're 0-1 right now. They're both 0-1, ranked 1 and 2, which will cause a firestorm on the NUIC football Facebook page. But that's not my problem at the moment. But if you watched both of those games last week between Lena Winslow and Benton Academy, which is like a 7A school, I'm pretty sure. They might be 5A on classification now, but historically they've been in the playoffs in 7A. Lena went toe-to-toe with them and just fell short in the fourth quarter. And same with Stockton, who played really, really well against an El Paso Gridley team who I think will make it, depending on how the pairings come about. I think we could be seeing an El Paso Gridley team at state this weekend. Sorry, later down the road.
Yeah.
Stockton played them so very well, and they played Stockton football. El Paso Gridley had a lot of skill players and ran a little bit of a different offense than what they'll see in the NUIC at all the rest of the year. So I have no different perspectives on Stockton or Lena Winslow sitting now at 0-1, or if they're 0-2, I still won't think anything of that.
And hats off to them too. I love them scheduling these games and doing these things because they're 2 of the best programs in the entire state, any classification, and they're willing to go out there and prove it. And that's the same thing. Hats off with Mike Morrissey and Moline to schedule that game last week. Sycamore again this week. That's what's the fun of this before we get into conference play next week as well, and all those kind of things is What are you most excited about before I let you go about the Instant Reacts? Give the plug. Give the what are people like at 10:15. If you're not glued to the YouTube page for View from the West, and you're a high school football fan in Illinois, I really can't help you. That's a problem of your own. Give the plug for tonight.
Yeah, 10:15. We will be live on YouTube on our YouTube page. We'll have the links on our X account as well when we go live. And yeah, expect chaos. Not sure who we'll have on tonight. We always try and always have our normal host of characters. But if there's a coach that has a big win, maybe it's Jeremy Adolphson tonight since they're at home. It could be anybody. It could be Coach Vallis from Farmington. We're going to try and bring in as many people as we can that's available. But it should be an exciting week. There's a lot of great games here in week 2. Hopefully there's no weather delays and kickoffs at 10 p.m. So fingers crossed on that we'll have final scores and not as much running around as we were last week.
Yeah, it's crazy that we talked for 2 hours last week and everything. It was more of like an election results show where like we're like Mitch was like, all right, I have the votes in from
point on my board and just point on my board here, just doing this.
Yep, it's not yet. No, all the votes have not been counted yet, but it looks like this team's going to win. So it'll be a bunch of fun.
Exactly.
Hey, get some rest today if that's possible. And it's a late night for you on Fridays, as always, later than all of us being out in the East. But can't wait to chat with you tonight. We appreciate it, man. Be good.
Sounds good, Dazzle. Thank you.
All right. That is Mitch Stormer from View from the West. As I mentioned, like if you're following this page, this YouTube page, thank you for doing it. Go follow theirs too. It's well worth it. And the crossover and the fun. I feel like I kick off the Friday by talking to these knuckleheads and kind of reminding people where it's at. And then we wrap things up. It's weird because it's early in the morning here. And I think about it. I'm like, I'm going to be doing the same thing with Mitch here in 16 hours or 12 hours, whatever it might be. So that's how we spend our Fridays. And it's a sickness. We love high school football. So it's a sickness, and we're glad we have it. We'll be back at TouVelle Stadium right after the break. You watch an OTA on a Friday. We'll be right back. Hawkeye fans, football season is quickly approaching, and only one place can get you game day ready. The Black and Gold Shop is your official retailer of Iowa athletics. The largest selection of Hawkeye apparel, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and more from top brands like Nike, Champion, and Under Armour. And your purchases directly help support Iowa athletics. So stop by one of their 3 great locations in the Quad Cities, Coralville, or West Des Moines. Or shop anytime at blackandgoldshop.com. The Black and Gold Shop, your official apparel provider of Iowa athletics. For over 65 years, Lindquist Ford has proudly served the Quad Cities, and they're just getting started. Looking for a new ride? Check out a healthy mix of new and quality pre-owned vehicles ready for you. Need service? Skip the waiting room. With free pickup and delivery and mobile service, they come to you. No delays, no hassle. From routine maintenance to a full-service collision repair shop, it's fast, friendly, reliable, and always transparent. Lindquist Ford, serving the Quad Cities since 1959. Experience the difference today.
All right, Crawford guys, we need to come up with a new ad campaign. Let's hear what you got.
Oh, let's make a new TV commercial.
No, we need a viral video.
I think my face would look good on a billboard. Come on, what?
Right. We need your head to be bigger.
For heating and air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical, count on the experts at Crawford Company.
Like me, the Crawford lady.
And me, the Crawford guy.
Ugh, you've got to be kidding.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
Welcome back to Update with Matt Randazzo here on a Thursday in the Quad Cities, live from TouVelle Stadium. Bettendorf High School, week 1 of the high school football season in Iowa comes your way tonight. The big game here, Bettendorf and Pleasant Valley. A lot of Bettendorf talk today, obviously, being at the home school. But we did talk with Rusty Van Wetsinga earlier a few weeks ago, kind of previewing Pleasant Valley. Make sure you go check that out as well. And all the shows for Update with Matt Randazzo on the YouTube page as well. Should be a fantastic game. Both teams last year, and and they'll be the first to tell you, didn't live up to expectations of what they want as a program. 4-5, 5-4, I believe, for Pleasant Valley. So, but a lot of young players, got a lot of valuable experience, and expectations are high for both teams. And it's a great way to kick off the season. Obviously, it's just one game, and there's a lot of games to be played after this. But this place will be electric. They're expecting 7,000 people here tonight. A ton of people here for a really good football game. So we wish both teams the best of luck tonight. Also here on the Iowa side of the river, Assumption, who played one game last week against Solon, they'll play, against Geneseo. They have Solon tonight as well. So Assumption then gets a bye week. Solon, a tough opponent, but I really liked what I saw from Assumption battling with and taking a really good Geneseo team down to the wire last week as well. So those are just some of the games going on the Iowa side of the river. Davenport Central, I know, goes up the Dubuque area. A ton more action. So we'll talk more about that coming up on Monday and how week one kind of settles down here on the Iowa side of the river. And as we mentioned, we just talked with Mitch Stormer from View from the West. It's another loaded week in Illinois. And make sure you check out the View from the West podcast tonight. Instant Reacts podcast, 10:15. We go live. Greg Armstrong, Mitch Stormer. They let me hang out with them as well. Kyle from NUIC. So many different people, and I'm missing them as I go. Brian Stocking usually hops on. Ty Taylor will hop on now and then. So it's a great time. We'll talk to coaches, kind of not just let you know what happened and show you some highlights of what happened, but we'll also break down what it means and talk to the coaches and kind of look ahead to almost the week 3 and kind of it's a full 2 hours is what we end up usually doing. So it's a bunch of fun. Make sure you join us tonight for a View from the West. If you, like I said last segment, if you have followed this show, subscribe to this show, which we appreciate, make sure you subscribe to View from the West as well. We should have a lot of fun tonight as well. Coming up next week, college football season's coming. We are one weekend away from the start of the high school or the college football season, so a lot more talk on college football as well. Also, we're at Bettendorf. We mentioned it yesterday. Dylan Sortillo, former Bettendorf standout in basketball, Augustana standout as well, has been named the director of operations at Mississippi State University. We're going to track down Dylan. We talked to him a little bit ago yesterday, texted with him. We're going to try to track him down this weekend or early next week and get him on the show as well. So we've got that coming your way. We've got Nest Guests kicking off next week. We're really excited about that. So make sure you get ready for Nest Guests. Get into the weekly pick'em and win free Hungry Hobo. It should be a blast once again. We'll be doing that from Hungry Hobo. Every Wednesday we'll bring you that. So all of that, Pat Angerer, much, much more as we get ready for. We'll focus on some Illini next week as well with Jim Madsen, some guys from the Illini guys, kind of get ready for their opener as well. So great time of year. Great time of year to have a 2-hour daily streaming sports show, and we are enjoying the heck out of it here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank our sponsors as well. Crawford Company in particular, they're a key sponsor of OTA on the road, so we appreciate them for helping us out doing this each and every week as well. And we'll be back Monday morning with a lot to talk about after a busy weekend of high school football and a whole bunch more. We'll see you guys then. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.